Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is OneSkill and in today's video I will show you how you can create some of the most beautiful slide designs in the world. I have looked through 2018 and 2019 most popular PowerPoint templates available in the market. I have picked 10 slides and in this video tutorial I will show you step by step how you can create these 10 slides by yourself sitting at home. So I hope you'll find this video tutorial useful, awesome and interesting. So let's get started.
That's good.
And before we jump into the action, I want to say huge thanks to all of you, my dear friends, who have watched my YouTube videos, who have commented, and who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, because soon we will have 100,000 subscribers. Oh my god, I can't believe it. And I'm super grateful to every one of you, and I want to say huge thanks as well to all of my Patreons who support me on patreon.com. Thank you very much. Because of you, because of every one of you, I can keep on creating awesome videos like this one. And trust me, my friends, in this video I'll try to give you everything I can. I'll teach you everything I know so that you can become a PowerPoint expert by watching this video. So it's going to be a long one, but it's going to be a very awesome one. So let's get started. A few technical details, my friends. So first of all, what kind of PowerPoint version I am using? So I'm using Office 365, which basically has the most updated and newest PowerPoint version. If you have older PowerPoint versions, don't worry about that, because you will still get a bunch of value from this video. Next, this video is going to be super long, so I will put a time menu in the video description so that you can quickly jump into any part of this video that you want. As well, you can follow the keyboard shortcuts that I'm using here. So this is just a small program called Keycaster, which displays all of the keyboard shortcuts that I'm pressing. Feel free to listen to any music that you want, because I'm not going to be using any music for this video. And all of the slides that we will create in this video, they're absolutely free, and I will put a download link in the video description. And now finally, let's jump into the action. So ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me just right click on this first slide. Let's go to layouts and choose blank so that we have a blank layout. And now let's go to graphicriver.net. This is the website where I was checking out a bunch of PowerPoint templates, and here I have opened up a couple of tabs, of the templates that I think really stand out and which were actually most of the best selling and most popular. So first of all, let's have a look into this one, which is called Motegua, multi-purpose PowerPoint template. What's cool about this website is that you can actually check out, all of the slides before you basically decide to buy a template or not. So that's very useful. And if you are a beginner, so I think this slide is really a good start for me to show you, how to do this kind of slide in PowerPoint, how everything works. So let's just right click on this image, because now it's just an image, just a preview. So let's copy this image. Let's get back to PowerPoint and let me just paste this image into PowerPoint. Okay, so here is a picture of the slide that we will be doing from the Motegua PowerPoint template. And let's insert a new slide. Just right click here and choose insert. And now all we have to do is just create this slide. So here at the top of the slide, we have a couple of text boxes. So if you are completely new to PowerPoint, so all you have to do to, create slides in PowerPoint is basically you have to know how to insert text boxes and pictures, and that's all. So go to insert and choose text box. And let's just click here and let's type about us. So let's try to match, this text box as closely as possible to the original. So first of all, I think we need to change the font itself. So now it's set to Calibri. So let's try setting it to Lato font. And let's increase the size to something like Let's see which font size looks good. Let's try adding bold. Okay, looks pretty close enough. And if you don't have Lato font in your computer, don't worry, I'll put a download link in the video description, but basically all of the fonts you can usually find on fontsquirrel.com or dafont.com, so check out those websites. So now our text box is completely black, and if you would like to, copy this exact color from, our photo that we just have pasted in, so you can just select your text box, click here on this letter, go to eyedropper, and basically copy this color. Beautiful. Okay, let's make sure our text box, aligns with the original. Now I just right click and cut it, and I paste it into our slide. Okay, we can make sure that our text box is in the center of the slide by aligning it to the center. You can always go to view and activate guides, which will, always show you, the center of your slide. So now our text box is in the center, so that is cool. Okay. Now let me just actually copy this text box, because in PowerPoint, once you create, for example, one text box, you can always reuse this text box for creating the next text boxes. So you don't have to go to insert and text box every time. You can, use what you have already created. But apparently to create this smaller text, we will have to change the font to Think Lato Light, remove the boldness, reduce the font size, something like that. Let's just type in this text that we see in the original. Okay, I think the text should be a little bit smaller. Let's check out 18 or 16. Whoops, not 6. 16. Beautiful. Okay, now let's just zoom in a little bit. Let's actually copy this exact color from the original. Again, using the eyedropper tool. Yes, I think we did it. Looks pretty much the same. And for these three words, let's copy this green color. Okay, beautiful. Okay, let's center it and let's paste it. Let me just zoom out. You can always zoom in here by using the plus sign or the minus sign, and if you're like really zoomed in and you want to come back to the original view, so just click on this rectangle and skadoosh, you will come back to the original view. So let me paste this smaller text box, so it's center aligned in the text box itself, and it's aligned to the center of the slide as well. Everything looks beautiful. Okie dokie, and now let me show you how you can insert this line. So you can go to Insert, Shapes. So here you can use line or you can use a rectangle. So I'll show you quickly both ways. So first of all, let's select the line. And if you hold down the Shift key, you'll get a straight line. Okay, here we can add some weight to the line. And again, we can, copy the color with the eyedropper tool, or let me just use some of these colors that PowerPoint already remembers, because if you use the eyedropper tool, as you can see, these three colors that we have eyedropped already. So, PowerPoint remembers these colors already and we can reuse them. Okay, so yeah, basically we have created this, line with the line tool. Yeah, it's pretty much self-explanatory, but if you would like to create something like this using a rectangle, you could do it as well. Just draw a rectangle, make sure it has no outline. We will fill it with this same color, and we will just reduce the height of it, and you would pretty much have the same result, okay? But I'll just use the line. So as you can see, I will be explaining quite a lot of things. Some are basic things, some are more advanced things. You know, I just want to give you so much of everything that I know, so much value. So yeah, just relax and enjoy the flight. Okay. Okie dokie. Zoom out. As well, you can start counting how much times I say okie dokie, because I like to say okie dokie or skadoosh or easy peasy lemon squeezy, stuff like that. All right, now a bit more interesting part of this current slide is how to create this picture. So in PowerPoint, there are a couple ways how you can do this, this picture, which touches, both edges of the slide. So you can actually insert any photos, go to Insert, click on Pictures. For example, let's choose this photo. And as you can see, well, first of all, let's just select the photo and let's click on this tool, which is called Crop. And basically you can, crop your photo like this. Click on Crop again. Now you can align your photo to one edge of the slide. And now just click on this round bubble and just increase, the size of your photo, so that it touches the next, side of the slide. So this is one way of doing it. But let's say that you want to change this picture to some other picture. You delete the picture and now you have to do everything from scratch again. So the way I would recommend setting this up, it maybe takes a little bit more time, would be first of all, let's just drag a rectangle, which covers this whole picture. Let's cut it, Control X. Now let's go to View and click on Slide Master. Slide Master is just like a back end of your PowerPoint presentation. You can set, some interesting stuff here. Like for example, you can place your logo, company logo over here. And it will be, basically visible in all of your slides. So you can, change or insert a logo into Slide Master and it will automatically be included in all of your slides. So yeah, Slide Master is a useful thing. So let me get back to what I was doing. So let's go to Slide Master. So this is like, a bigger, this one is called like Slide Master, but let's find Layout, which is almost blank. Let me duplicate it. So duplicate Layout. And here, let me paste this blue rectangle that we have copied. And now let's go to Insert, Picture Placeholder. And now let's just draw a picture placeholder, which has the same size as our rectangle. So now this blue rectangle was just for reference. So let me just delete this blue rectangle. And let's position this image placeholder something like this. We can actually give a name to our slide layout. For example, Slide Design number 1, rename it. And this, now we can actually close the master view. Now go to right click on your slide, layout, and choose Slide Design number 1. And this method will actually allow you to quickly change the photos. For example, now you want to have this beautiful forest. You change your mind, you click delete, then you click on this icon. You want this beautiful car. Hooray, you change your mind, and so on. I think you get the idea. Let's leave it like this. Let's hit on crop again if we want to adjust the positioning of how our photo looks like. And hit on crop again. So now you basically have learned 2 ways to insert images into PowerPoint, and actually this second way is much more flexible once you set it up this way. Okay, and now we have this green bubble, so this is a slide number. So how do you insert slide numbers into PowerPoint? Just go to Insert and click on Slide Number. And now all you have to do is just click here, Slide Number, click Apply. If you want to apply to all of your slides, of course, apply to all, but let's apply to this slide, okay. And here we have this small little number over here. But what if you want to create this kind of, slide number with this green bubble? So let me show you how you can do that. Once again, let's go to View, Slide Master. So once again, Slide Master is where some of the magic is usually happening. So let's find our slide layout. Now let's zoom in a little bit. Let's grab this, funny looking text box. So this is actually, the slide number itself. Let's drag it somewhere at the top. And let me actually close the Slide Master view. Let me actually create first of all this green circle. Just go to Shapes, choose Oval. Hold down the Shift key to keep the proportions. No outline. And for the shape, let's just eyedrop this green color. Whoops. Okay, looks beautiful. Something like this. Okay, Control X to cut it. Now let me get back to the Slide Master view. Let me paste this, circle. Let's send it to back. Because, in PowerPoint and in other programs, you can stack things on top of each other. So, it's important where, each object is. So in this case, this green bubble has to be at the bottom. And for the slide number, let's position it into the center and let's set the color of the text to white so that, it's much more visible. We're going to increase the font to 14. We can change the font itself, for example, Lato Black, or just let's leave it to Lato. Okay, and now let's, get back to the normal view and check out how our slide number looks like. Hooray! As you can see, it has updated and now the slide number is over here. So if I would duplicate this, if I would duplicate this slide, as you can see, we have number 3, number 4, and so on. You can quickly duplicate slides by hitting Control and D, or you can right click and duplicate slide, just like that. And once again, if you have a logo, usually people have a logo, so just go to View, Slide Master, position your logo anywhere that you want, maybe here on the right side or on the left side, and then you have your logo, through all of your presentations. So that's really useful. Okay, so let's keep on creating this slide. So next, we have this like rounded rectangle over here, semi-transparent rounded rectangle, and we have a quote, some text inside of it. So now let me show you how you can create just this, just this. Okay, let's go to Insert, Shapes. Let's choose a rounded rectangle with rounded corners. Let's drag it. Now we have this yellow bubble, so just drag it, and this way you can, control how oval your shape is. So now let's try to position this shapes something like this. Let's zoom out a little bit. I'm zooming in with my mouse wheel. Hold down the Control, and if I scroll the mouse wheel up and down, and this way I can zoom. Or you can use these plus and minus signs, but I think this way it's a bit more faster. Okay, now the next thing, we need to crop this end of the shape. So how we can do that? So in PowerPoint, you can insert a second shape, for example, a rectangle. Let me just change the color of it so that you can better see what's going on. Now let's select this rounded rectangle, this usual rectangle, and go to merge shapes, and let's choose a function which is called subtract. So this way we subtracted, with the help of that rectangle, the end of this rounded rectangle. So now this way you can create awesome, shapes in PowerPoint. Now let me just remove the outline and let me go to format shape and add some transparency to this shape. Okie dokie. All right, let's cut this shape and paste it over here. Beautiful. And you can set any color, obviously, to this shape that you want. For example, maybe let's I drop this color from the sky and set the transparency to any amount that we want. Beautiful. Let's zoom in, and next let's insert this quote. So once again we have to go to insert and text box, or we can reuse the text box that we have already created. So let me just click on the edge of this text box to select it, Ctrl C to copy it. Let me paste it to this original photo, and now let's make this text italic. Okay, we can delete this green text, and let's just type in. Let me just align this text to the left, okay, because inside of the text box you can align your text to the center, you can justify it, you can align it to any side. Hooray! Okay, and let's increase. You can increase the size of your text boxes, by typing or choosing any font size that you want, or you can click on these two buttons. This one is to increase, this one is to decrease. I think it will be good enough. So let me copy this text box and let's paste it over here. Let's make it white. All right. Actually, I think for this shape, let's actually choose a more like a dark color. I think it will look a little bit better with this text. Yes, something like this. I think this way text is much more visible. And I think I forgot to type in, author. So I'll just type in author. And if you want to make this text a little bit smaller, just make it smaller. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now the next thing is to insert these large, big, beautiful hyphens, or how they are called. Don't know exactly. But let's copy this text box and hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Whoops. Let's just move it to the side. In PowerPoint, if you want to move text boxes, so make sure you just select them, here on the edge, anywhere on the edge, because if you would click somewhere inside, you would just basically click into the text box, and if you want to move it, just click on the edge. Here I'll just select the whole text by hitting down the Ctrl A, and here I just type in a hyphen. I select it, and let's check out what happens if I type in 200. Okay, so the size 200 looks like this. Here, the hyphens have this kind of bubbly style. So let's see what happens if I change the font to Times New Roman. Looks not bad. Looks not bad. But it's like a little bit more spaced out. What happens if I just type in one hyphen and I duplicate it with Ctrl D and I do something like this? Beautiful. Now I can just select Let me try to select both of these elements. You can just drag with your mouse, and this way you can select both of these objects, right click on them and choose group. Okay, so now this is grouped. So one looks like this, and one is, let me just duplicate this group. We can grab this rotation handle, rotate everything, and place it right here. Beautiful. I think my hyphens are a little bit larger than in the original, but that is okay. Okay. Now the next thing is basically what's left to do is to insert a couple of text boxes with more text. So let me just copy once again this text box, place it over here. I think the font size will be a little bit, smaller, something like 12 or 14. Let's align it. Let's align the text inside of the text box to the right side. I think let's use the guides so that we can better see where is the center of the slide. And here we just need to find some text so that, I don't have to type anything. And let's just go to Motagua, page. And I think here at the bottom of the page, they have a little bit of text. Let's just copy this text. Ctrl C to copy. And let's select all of the text inside of this text box and hit Ctrl V to paste. Let's make sure we keep text only, so now our text is formatted the way it should be. And as you can see, the text box becomes really large once we paste in the text, but don't worry, just grab this white bubble and drag this bubble back. And this way you can adjust how your text box looks like. Beautiful. And here in the original picture, we have these couple of words, bolded. So we can bold them here as well. Awesome. And I think the text is justified here as well, so we can do that as well. Just click on this button to justify your text. Looks beautiful. Now let's just copy and paste this. Let me just correct this word. Now we can copy and paste and just drag it over here. Okay, and now let's check it out on the full screen. So this is what we did, and this was the original slide. So yeah, I think we did a great job, a wonderful job. You can of course adjust, how close these two text boxes are to each other. I think I'll just move it a little bit closer. You can always, select your text box and use the arrow keys on the keyboard to, basically position your text boxes. Let's make sure they are aligned to the top. Let me actually group all of these two text boxes and align them to the center so that, they become one object, and I can align them to the center, and I'll just ungroup them again so that I can edit them individually if I need to. Okay. Okay, so now we are finally finished with the first slide. And now, things will be going a lot faster because I have explained to you many of the, basic, stuff, how to work with PowerPoint. So now, as you can see, when I have inserted a new slide, we, get this same slide layout that we have already created, but we want a blank layout, so don't worry about that. You can right click on your slide and go to layout and choose blank layout, or you can go home and click here, layout, and click on blank. Okay. So now we are finished with the first slide out of 10. Hooray! So still a long way to go. But we're not afraid. We're not afraid of the challenges. Okay, so the next slide that we will be doing is called, PowerPoint template is called Simplicity. So let's click on it to see what do we have inside. So we have lots of interesting slides, and I have particularly interested into slide number 27. So let me just fast forward to 27. Oh, here it is. Okay, because I think this slide is really good for practice, for me to show you how you can use, different shapes, not only rectangles, but, triangles and this kind of wavy, interesting shape. So I'll show you how to create all of this in PowerPoint, even this awesome blurred shadow and these dots and this gradient in the background, all of it. Let's copy this photo because, it's a photo. Let's just hit Ctrl V to paste. All right, let's insert a new slide. So first of all, let's start with, let me make sure that, yes, the video is recording. And yeah, first of all, let's create this gradient background for our slide. So basically in PowerPoint, there are two ways how you can create a full, full screen background for your slide. First of all, you can right click on your slide and choose Format Background. And here you can fill it with, one color, or you can choose it with a gradient. And another way you could do it, you could insert a rectangle which covers the whole slide. And this way you would create a full screen background as well. So in this case, let me just use this rectangle. It will be easier for me to, cut this rectangle, paste it into the original photo. Let me remove the outline from this rectangle. And now I'll just, fill this rectangle with a gradient color from this original picture. So right click on the rectangle, Format Shape, and choose Gradient. Here we have a couple of gradient stops, so these are just basically different colors. And now we activate this first gradient stop, go to eyedropper, let's copy this color. And on the different side, let's copy this color. Okay, and for the gradient direction, let's choose something like this. Beautiful. And I think we could add one more like central color, like this one. Beautiful. Now let me just cut this rectangle, paste it over here, and resize it, and now it nicely covers the whole slide. And now when I think of it, I think now PowerPoint remembers this gradient that we have just created. And I think if I would just right click on the Format Background and choose Gradient, it should fill, the slide with the same gradient. Let's test it out. Format Background, Gradient Fill. Oh, skadoosh! Yes, it works. Okay, so now we can, delete this rectangle. Okie dokie, so alright, first of all, let me show you how you can create this box with a shadow. So let's go to Insert, Shapes. Let's choose a rectangle. Let's draw a rectangle. Let's set a white outline. Let's give it a little bit of weight, so now it's a little bit thicker. Let's set Fill to No Fill. Now let's cut our box, paste it over here. It should be in the center. We can make sure by aligning it to the center of the slide and the middle of the slide. Well, maybe it's not completely in the center, but it's okay. And now let's add this text. So let's insert a text box. Let's type in simplicity. Let's change the color of the text to white. Let's change the font to Lato black. Let's increase the size of the text box. Whoops. We can actually change the color of our text so that we can better see red color. Let me change it to different color, which is easier on the eyes. As you can see, you have to really click on the edge of the text box to select it. Okay, and now what we can do, I think the font size is correct, but we can adjust the spacing of the letters. So you can choose one of these options, like loose, very loose, or you can, type in your exact spacing. For example, let's try with 2. Let's see what happens. Let's type in 1. Okay, I think it's good enough. So now we can cut this text box, paste it here, make it white. Actually, let me position this rectangle as well, like this, so that's the same as in the original. Let me just, let me explain to you what I just did. So in PowerPoint, if you want to make sure that your text box is in the middle of another shape, for example, a rectangle, so you have to first select both of these objects. You can drag with your mouse, or you can first select your text box, hold down the Shift key, select your rectangle, then go to Format, Align, Align Center, and Align Middle. Let's just make sure that our text box is centered inside of itself. And let's check out the original. Let's actually move our text box a little bit upward so that we have some space for this smaller text. Now let's copy this text box, paste it into the original. Let me reduce the size right away. Let's leave it just Lato. Okay, something like this. I think I should activate bold. Yeah, it looks better. And let's reduce the font to something like 17. I think it looks good enough. Maybe we can make it, well, let's leave it like it is. Doesn't have to be completely identical, I just want to show you how things are working, in PowerPoint. Now we can select both of these text boxes while holding down the Shift key and hit Ctrl G to group, or just right click and group. And this way both of these text boxes become one object. And now we can align these two text boxes inside of the rectangle again. So now it's completely in the center. Almost. Okay, let's continue. Next, I'll show you how to create this kind of shadow in PowerPoint. So select this rectangle, go to Format, Shape Effects, Shadow, and let's choose this shadow, which is called Offset, bottom left. We will have to adjust this shadow a little bit so that it looks the way we want it to look. So first of all, in the distance, just drag this slider so there is some distance as in the original. Let's actually reduce the distance a little bit. Let's add some blur. So I think blur of 10 points should be good enough. And yes, we get pretty similar effect. Okay. All right, now that the shadow is done, let me show you how you can create these kind of funny shapes that we have here, this red one and this blue one. So in PowerPoint you have this tool, which is, you can find it in shapes, which is called curve tool. So you can basically just click around your shape, you know, a million times, connect it to the starting point, and you will get a shape. But with this tool I don't get, you know, the best results usually. So what I would recommend, go to Insert, go to Shapes, choose this one, which is called Freeform Shape. Okay. And now what you have to do is just to click a couple of times. So first of all, let me just zoom in. So click here at the starting point, then click here somewhere in the middle. Now click here. Now you can hold down the Shift key, you know, to make a straight line. Click here, and while holding down the Shift, you know, to make straight line, click at the starting position, and your object will close. Okay, and now let me actually give it a yellow outline so that you can better see, you know, how everything works. Let me remove the fill from this shape. And now I will show you how you can actually, you know, create those curves. So just right click on this yellow outline, click Edit Points. And now when you click on this black dot, you get these two white handles. So just grab this handle and hooray, you can create curves. Beautiful. So adjust the curves, you know, the way you want your shape to look like. And this is how you create, you know, curved objects in PowerPoint. One of the ways. I think it's pretty precise and flexible at the same time. Beautiful. So now that we have the outline, we can fill this shape with the help of the eyedropper tool with this exact, you know, pink-red color. And now we can remove the outline. We don't need it anymore. So let's paste this shape into our original slide. Let's align it to the left side and to the bottom of the slide. As you can see, our shape does not fully cover the whole slide, so we can, let's just go to Edit Points once again. We can edit this black point so that it, you know, fully covers the whole slide. But one more thing that we can do, we can actually extend all of these, you know, black points behind, you know, the slide. And now I'll just insert a couple of shapes at the edges of the slide. And let me just rotate this one as well. And I'll just crop, you know, the ends from this red shape. So first of all, let me just merge two of these blue blocks. And let's select first this red shape, now the blue blocks, and choose Subtract. Beautiful. So now we have a perfect, you know, red shape. Awesome. Now let me just duplicate this shape, rotate it around. You can hold down the Alt key and click on the arrow keys on your keyboard to rotate it. Let me just copy this exact color. Okay. Now let's align it to the right, to the top, and drag it downwards. So, you know, it's not going to be the exact shape as in the original, but you get, you know, the way how to do it. Okay, now let me show you how you can create this wavy, I don't know, what is it? Wavy element. Now we will actually use this tool called Curve, and I'll just click once here, once here, once here, once here, once here, once here, and once here. I think I'll just repeat it once again. Once again, one time here, one time here. Okay, something like this. Now I'll just make the outline white. Let's add some weight. If you see that 6 points is not enough for you, you can always right click on your shape, go to format shape, and here in the line options you can, add, for example, 100. Of course 100 is too much, but for example 8 is good enough. And one more interesting thing is you can see in the original slide design, this end is rounded, and here we have like a flat end. So how do you make a rounded end? Just go to your line options, and here where is the cap type, just choose round. Hooray, and you have a round cap. Okay, so this is how you make wavy elements. Let me just yes, we have one here, one here. Let me just reduce the width of this one to, for example, 5. Reduce the size. Whoops. So I'll select this one, this one. Let me cut them and paste them into our slide. Okie dokie. Okay, next, a little bit more complex or interesting shape are these white bubbles. So how do you make them? So let me demonstrate on this slide. So first of all, let's insert a circle. Hold down the Shift key to keep the proportions. Fill the shape with white color, no outline. No outline, okay. Let's reduce the size of this bubble. Okay, now let's reduce the size a little bit more. Okay, now let's just hit Ctrl D to duplicate. Let's put it somewhere right here, and let's hit Ctrl D a couple more times. Okay. As you can see, once you hit Ctrl D one time and position the object, and when you hit Ctrl D, other times, so PowerPoint automatically positions, the next objects beautifully. Okay, now we can group all of these objects, Ctrl D again. I'll place them like this, and Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D, as many times as you want. Now I select all of these guys, Ctrl G again to group them, and I'll just basically rotate, any way I want, and position these bubbles anywhere I want. That's how it works, nothing too much complicated. And don't worry that, these bubbles are like, sticking out of the slide, because, on the full screen, you just see what you see. So don't worry about those things. Of course, you can always ungroup the object, select, those bubbles that you don't want, you can delete them, but we will not do it, to save some time. And let me just send these bubbles to back, so that this blue shape is on the top. Okay, okie dokie. All right, and now what's left to do is, actually this triangle is not that hard. Just go to shapes, choose a triangle, no fill. For the outline, you can use the eyedropper to copy this color, rotate your triangle, adjust the size so that it looks the way you want it. You can always adjust the line weight if you want the lines to be thicker, and it's beautiful. Okay, let me just cut it, paste it into our slide. Okay, we can actually adjust our slide background a little bit, because as you can see in the original slide, it's like more bluish here and more pink color, and in our slide it's a little bit more faded. So let's just go to format, and we can slide this blue slider a little bit upwards, and this red a little bit like this. So we get more vibrant colors as in the original. So Okay, I will not do all of these bubbles because they're pretty simple. Let me just explain to you, well, how to do this shape and how to do these semi-transparent gradient like shooting bullets or something like that. For the plus, I think there is a shape in shapes. Yes, there is a plus, so you can do a plus pretty, easily. Just hold down the shift key. Now for this kind of shape, you can go to insert and choose hollow circle. So once again, it's pretty easy. You can control with this yellow bubble, how thin or thick your shape is, and let's fill it with the same color. Now outline. And you could do actually the same thing by drawing just a simple circle, removing the fill, and just adjusting your outline. So it would you would get the same result as with this hollow shape circle. And now let me show you how to create these kind of bullets, shooting bullets, or shooting stars. So let's just create a rounded rectangle. Let's remove the outline. Let's go to Format, Shape, Gradient. Let's set the direction to something like this. So let's just use a couple of just two colors. So for the blue one, let me just change it to this one with the help of the eyedropper tool, and for the second color, let me just select this kind of color. And while we have activated this second color, just go to transparency and make it fully transparent so that the end of this shape is transparent and it looks like a some kind of shooting object which is leaving some kind of trace behind it. Awesome. So, make it as thin or thick as you want. Use the rotation handle to make any angle that you want. And this is how you create these kind of, shooting objects. Let me just paste a couple of them here. And we are pretty much... well, we have a couple of different here, but you already know how to create them. And now I can officially say that we are finished with the second slide design. So this was the original, and this is what we did. So you have learned a lot of techniques, how to work with different shapes, how to create custom shapes in PowerPoint, and these are really useful skills if you want to become a PowerPoint expert. All right, let's continue with the third slide design. All right, now let's take a look into this PowerPoint template, which is called Versus Minimal PowerPoint Template. By the way, if you would like to look into greater detail into any of these templates that we will be working throughout this video, so all of the links are in the video description, so feel free, to check yourself all of the previews, go through the slides. And for this particular PowerPoint template, I have marked down slide 88. So let's just go quickly to 88. All right, so this is the slide we will be trying to now recreate in PowerPoint. So let's copy this preview. Let's go to our presentation. Let's insert a new slide. Let's paste this preview image. Hooray! Let's open up a new slide. So first of all, as you can see, we have a picture. So it's going to be something similar like in this first slide design. But in this case, we will add a color overlay. So in this case, it will be a summer semi-transparent black rectangle. It can be any color, but in this case, it's black. So now let me show you how you can do it. So first of all, let's go to the original preview slide and let's just draw a rectangle like this. So now it matches the size. Okie dokie, now we can actually fill this shape with black color, remove the outlines, no outline, and now we can actually cut it. Let's go to Slide Master, okie dokie. And here, once again, let's find our, blank slide layout. Let's duplicate it. Let's move it below this slide layout that we did before. And here, let's paste our black rectangle. And once again, this is just for reference, so that when we draw a picture placeholder, so that it has the same size. Okay. Let's send our picture placeholder to back, and now we can cut our rectangle again. We will use it. Now let's close the Slide Master view, and now we can go to Layout and choose this one. Well, I forgot, to give it a proper name, so now it's just called one blank, but we know this is the design that we just created. Okay. Now let's just fill this image placeholder with any image that we want. For example, this one. I have found all of these images on unsplash.com, so I'll put links in the video description to these images as well. And if you want to flip your image horizontally, you can do that very easily. Just go to Rotate and flip horizontally. Beautiful. Now let's just hit Ctrl V, because some time ago we just have cut it. We have cut our black rectangle, and now we have pasted it. So now we have it here. Just go to Format Shape and add some transparency. And this way we have created, this kind of dark black overlay on our, image. Beautiful. And if you will want to change the image, so now this black rectangle is on top, so you would first need to, move it somewhere else. Then you can delete the image, and then you can select a different image, then bring your overlay on top and just position it where it belongs, something like this. But we will stick to this photo. Okay, and to save you some time, I have already created all of these text boxes. Let me copy them and paste them here. I'll just explain you a couple of things. So obviously I have used different fonts for different text boxes. So here we have Railway Light, Railway Extra Bold. I have as well added some letter spacing here. So in this case it's 6. So as you can see, letters and words are a little bit spaced out. And here basically I have created 3 text boxes, one for the number, one for the service, one, this text, and one for the smaller text. I have grouped all of these 3 boxes into like one group and, just copied it 3 times. And this way I have created these, text box groups. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright, and this is how fast we have finished our 3rd slide design. And now let's go to the 4th one, okay? So it's going to be again from the Versus PowerPoint template. And in this case, I have marked a slide which is 218. So let's find it. So as you can see, the preview is lagging a little bit, when I'm going through the slides really fast, but it's okay because, I know which slide I would like to show you how to do. So in this case is this one, so let me copy this. So as you can see, the most interesting thing from this, let me just select a blank slide layout. Let's paste the image. So in this case, the most interesting thing is actually how to do this kind of letter, which looks like it was brushed with a brush. So that's what I call, this is what I call a brush photo effect, something like that. And yeah, now let me show you how you can create these kind of letters. So first of all, let's insert a text box and let's type in a letter S. Let's give it a font size of 500, so it's super huge. And now, important step, you have to use a font which looks like it has been brushed. So one of these fonts is called Selima. Don't worry if you don't have, this kind of font. I'll put a link, download link in a video description. As everything else in this video tutorial, all of the resources you'll find in the video description. Let me just cut this letter and paste it here to position it correctly. Okay. And now let's go to Slide Master. Once again, let's duplicate our blank slide layout. Let's move it below the rest of the slide layouts that we have already created. Let's give it a name. Brush letter photo. Okay, something like that. Now let's paste our letter. Now insert a picture placeholder like this. Send it to back. And now while holding down the shift key, just hold down the shift key and select the letter S. Merge shapes and choose intersect, and this way you have inserted image placeholder with a shape of a brushed letter S. That's awesome. Let me show you how it works. So now let's go to layouts and choose brush letter photo, and now you can click on this image and fill it with any photo that you want. For example, this one. Again, you can hit on crop and adjust how your photo looks like, something like this. Beautiful. All right. And now to make this letter S even more dramatic, we can go to Format, Picture Effects, go to Shadows and insert this inside shadow. I think it looks even more cool. Go to Shadow Options and add some blur. Beautiful. So this is how you make a brush photo effect. And in case some of the steps did not work for you, if you have older PowerPoint version, don't worry. I have already created a YouTube video, I think 1 year ago or 2 years ago, and you can follow steps that I show in that video, and I will put a link to that video somewhere here. I think a pop-up should pop up here and you can watch that video as well if something does not work for you with this method. Okay? And now, as before, let me just copy the rest of the text boxes while holding down the shift key. I'll just explain to you how I created these kind of bubbles with these arrows. So it's pretty easy peasy, lemon squeezy how to do them. Just go to Insert, Circular Shape, Circle. Circular shape is circle. Nice. No fill, outlined black, or just use the eyedropper tool if you want to copy exact color. And for this shape, what I did, I just went to Insert. You can actually draw 2 lines, but what I did, I just used freeform shape and I just made 3 clicks. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Something like this. Of course, make the size, adjust the size to your needs. And this is how you can create, these shapes. Whoops. Let's adjust them to the center. Let's group them, Control G, and this way, you can manipulate this object very easily and paste it and so on. Okay, let's zoom out. All right, and if you would like to change this photo, so once again, you can delete this photo and select other photo, for example, this one. Nice, beautiful. Okay, so slide design number 4 is completed, and let's move to slide number 5. So once again it is PowerPoint template versus, as you can see, versus template really receives a lot of love from me. I think it's pretty awesome template, looks beautiful. And now we need to find slide number 285, so let me just click many times. Alright, so this is the slide that I want to show you how to create. Once again, the most, let me just select blank layout. Once again, the most interesting thing is how to make, this part with a photo. For the text box, it's pretty easy. You already know how to use text boxes. For the slide number, you know how to insert these kind of, bubble slide numbers as well. So now let's insert a fresh new slide just below this, original slide. And on the original slide, let's just draw a couple of rectangles. So make sure that your rectangle, covers the whole element. Now just hit Ctrl D to duplicate and just duplicate a few more times. Don't worry about the spacing between the rectangles because we just select all of them while holding down the Shift key, go to Align Options, and let's distribute them horizontally. And now we have equal spaces. Now let's just go to Merge Shapes and union all of these, rectangles into one shape. And this is very important because now we cut these rectangles. We go to View, Slide Master view. Once again, let's just duplicate our blank layout. Move it below the rest of the layouts, and here we paste our rectangles. Now let's insert picture placeholder which covers all of these rectangles. Let's send it to back so that rectangles are on top. Now first select the picture placeholder, now the rectangles, and choose from the Merge Shapes options, choose Intersect. Hooray! Now you have created this custom image placeholder. And now let's see how it works. Once again, we can select it from the layouts. So this is the one. And we can fill it with, for example, this photo. And looks awesome. Right, once again, we can adjust how our photo looks like. Just click on crop. We can, increase the size of the photo and, place it the way we want it. Okay. And once again, to save some time, I have already created all of these text boxes, so it's nothing too complicated here. Once again, 3 text boxes with different font sizes, with different fonts. Well, actually, it's the same font, I think, everywhere, Railway, but with a little bit, of character spacing. So you can always go to character more spacing options and check out the exact spacing that I have used. All of the slides are available to download. All right. And let's keep on moving with the next slide design, which will be, I think, already slide number 6. So we are doing some nice progress here. Let's just make our layout blank. Okay, let me save our work so I don't lose what we have already done. Okay, and now for the slide design number 6, let's actually go into new PowerPoint template. I mean, another PowerPoint template, which is as well pretty popular. Let me just wait for the page to load. All right, so here we have it. Startup X Perfect Pitch Deck PowerPoint template, updated in 2019. Okay, and what we are specifically interested in is slide number 543. So we can actually go backwards. It will be faster. All right. So as you can see, we have some really interesting, Polaroid or just some kind of photos going on here. And let's just copy this image, this preview image. Let's paste it into PowerPoint. Let's paste it here. All right, so let's insert a fresh blank new slide over here. And now let's go straight to slide master view. As always, let's duplicate our blank layout. Let's move it below the rest of the slide layouts. Let's rename it to Polaroid. I think for this one, let's give it a name as well. I think it was slide design number 5. Okay. All right, and now let's just straight go to insert placeholder picture. For now, don't worry about the exact, dimensions of the photos. We will adjust it later. But now let's just insert this rectangular image placeholder. Let's actually format background to black color. But just for now, we'll not leave it like this because we want to add outline to this image placeholder. Go to outline, choose white, and add some weight to this outline. So this is basically going to be, the edges of our photo. And let's go to format shape. Let's add a width of maybe 15 is too much, like something like 10. Let's actually go to our image to see. Yeah, I think 10 will be good enough. Okay, so now we have our outline. Let's just make sure that join type is miter. So we get these. Let me just zoom in. We get these sharp edges because before it was, I think, rounded. So let's leave it miter. Okay, so now we have, the white outline. We can actually make this background white again. So let's select our image placeholder, and now let's add a shadow to this image placeholder. Go to Shape Effects and go to Shadow and choose this one, which is called Offset Center. And now let's adjust the shadow a little bit. Let's add a blur of 20 points, and let's increase the transparency. Let's make it 80%. Okay, something like this. And now we are pretty much, done with the image placeholder. Now actually, let me just go back to the normal view. Let's copy this, original preview, and let's paste it into the slide master view. Let's send it to back. And now let me just change temporarily the outline of this image placeholder to, let's say, yellow color. And now I'll just, create all of these photos. I mean, image placeholders for these photos. So this is the one on the bottom. Okay, now hit Ctrl D to duplicate. Now here is the second photo. Okay, now let's create the third one. Rotate it. And let's create this smaller photo, the last one. And here we can even reduce the thickness of the outline. As you can see in the original photo, the outline is thinner. So let's just right click on this image placeholder. Let's reduce the width to something like 6 or 7. Okay. And now we can actually delete this photo. It was just for reference. Now let's select all of our image placeholders and let's set the outline back to white. Beautiful. So this is how we created the Polaroid image placeholders. We can actually move them a little bit to the to the right side, so you know it's not very close to the edge. Okay, and now let's activate this layout that we have just created, Polaroid, and let's fill all of these image placeholders with photos. So all you have to do is just click on these icons, insert any images that you want, and as you can see, images are rotated automatically. You don't need to rotate them. And for the last one, first just bring it to the front, fill it. Let's see which photo we could use. For example, this one, and send it to back. And this way you have, you know, created awesome looking Polaroid photos. Let's check it out in the full screen. Beautiful. Now let me copy all of the text boxes, which I have already done. All right. And this line, well, it's just a simple line, so it's very easy to create. So just go to Insert, Shapes, Lines, and hold down the Shift key to, you know, draw a straight line. Adjust the thickness, the weight, and the color, and that's it. For the text boxes, you already know how to do the text boxes. And let me show you how you can animate these, you know, photos. Because in my preview, let me show you what kind of animation I did. So as you can see, all of these photos fly in, and let's just do that right here. So first of all, select this you know, most bottom photo, go to Animations, click Add Animation, and click More Entrance Effects. And let's look for pinwheel. Yes. Let's see how it looks like. Just click on Animation Painter and click on this button to preview. So let's reduce the duration to 1 second, so it, you know, flies in faster. Okay, and now we can select this photo, click on Animation Painter, and we can paste this animation to the rest of the photos. Just select 3 of these last photos and click on After Previous. So, you know, the rest of the animations will start automatically after each of the previous animations. Well, let me just show it to you. So, first of all, I click, and then all of the animations come in. Beautiful. So, we are finished with slide design number 6, and now we go to slide design number 7. Alright, so for the slide design number 7, let's go to the next PowerPoint template, which is called Pitch Deck Proposal. And on this template, I have noticed, not only noticed, but noted as well, slide number 19. And let's find that slide. This is the one. And let's copy it, copy the preview. Let's get back to our presentation, paste the slide preview right here, insert a fresh new slide. And on this slide design, once again, the most interesting part, well, at least for me, is how to create, well, I know how to create, but maybe for you, it's interesting to know how to create this kind of custom image placeholder. Once again, it's one photo, and it has these additional yellow color overlays. So let me show you how to do it. So first of all, let's go to Insert, Shapes, and let's choose a rounded rectangle. Let's make it, fully rounded. And now let's just draw these shapes. Let's make it a little bit longer so that it covers the whole shape. Now we just duplicate it and move this one here. Now let's duplicate once again here. Actually, let me create this shape first. So it should be touching the right edge of the slide. Okay. And now I will just right click on these three shapes and distribute them horizontally, so there's equal space. Okay. All right, beautiful. Now we can finish the rest of the shapes. Okay. You can always hold down the Shift key so that your objects move, in straight lines. All right, so everything looks beautiful. Now let me actually duplicate this slide so that we have a backup copy of these shapes. Now I'll just select all of these shapes and go to Format, Merge Shapes, and Union, so they become one object. Just zoom in, zoom out, and now let's just crop this shape. So I'll just draw one shape right here, and one shape right here, and I'll union these orange rectangles. So now I select these rounded rectangles, then the orange rectangles, and from the merge shape options I choose subtract, and this way we have created this this kind of interesting shape. Now we have to cut it. Go to Slide Master View. As you can see, I love using Slide Master View because we can create reusable image placeholder. And I'll just duplicate this blank slide layout and let me move it below the rest of them. And here I paste this shape that we have just created. Let's just align it to the right and to the top. Now let's insert image placeholder, which covers all of this shape. Let's send this image placeholder to back. Now while holding down the Shift key, select our blue shape, merge shapes, and intersect. As you can already start seeing all of these steps that I'm doing for all of these slide designs, steps are pretty much similar, but maybe the shapes are different. So you just have to get your creative juices flowing and just find ways how to create those shapes, and hopefully I help you to understand how you can do that. Okie dokie, so yeah, now we can close this Slide Master and we can actually delete this picture right here. And on this slide, on this empty slide, let's go to Layout and let's choose our slide design. Let's fill it with any photo, for example, this one. All right. And now all that's left to do is create these colorful, overlays. So we can delete these three shapes. We just need these two, shapes and this one. So once again, let's do a little bit of chopping and cropping. So, the color of the shapes really does not matter. I just union these guys. I select, I have to union these guys as well. And now subtract these guys. Union these guys, subtract those guys. Everything is very clear. And now we can delete this slide, and here I paste these guys, remove the outline, no outline. And for the color, let me actually copy this shape, paste it here, and let me just use the eyedropper tool to copy this exact color. Okay, paste it here, and let's add some transparency. Beautiful. All right, so this is how you can create this awesome, beautiful custom image placeholder. And as always, you can change your photo by deleting one photo, inserting second one, and in this case, after you change a photo, just don't forget to send it to back so that you can see your color overlays. And as before, I have already created all of the text boxes. I'll just explain to you, how to create these colorful circles and these social icons. So let's paste these guys over here. So for the colorful icons, let's just draw these circles. Okay, no outline. So let's duplicate it. Let's make sure they have equal spacing horizontally. Let me just move them a little bit upwards. Now I'll just use the eyedropper tool to fill them with the colors from the original slide. Okay, now I'll just move them back to position, cut them, and paste them into our slide. And now the icons, where do we get the icons? So I am using OneSkill PowerPoint resources, so it's absolutely free. I'll put a download link as well to this. It's basically just a PowerPoint presentation full of useful stuff like icons, maps. It's actually from my OneSkill slide builder, if you remember such a thing. And these icons, so the credit goes to 1001 free downloads. It's Liney icons, right? And we need 4 icons. So let's just go to, for example, electronics, and choose 4 icons like microphone, television, like camera, and let's say keyboard. Hit Ctrl+C to copy and Ctrl+V to paste. And now basically you just have to find your icons and place them into the center of each of those circles. You can use, the align options to align perfectly the icon into those bubbles. Beautiful. All right, and you can always find many beautiful icons on websites like flaticon.com or any other websites. Just note that you would need to use SVG format for the icons so that PowerPoint works well with those icons. Or you can use this resource file. I have already inserted a bunch of icons that you can use absolutely for free. And yes, and these social icons at the bottom. So once again, I think I have some social icons here as well. So let's just copy a bunch of them. I'll just group them. Reduce the size, grab any of the corners, reduce the size, and if you want to increase the spacing, let's first ungroup it. Let's move this last icon somewhere right here. Let's select all of them, go to Align Options, Distribute Horizontally, and now we have a beautiful slide. So for the text boxes, you know how it works, so I'll not repeat myself. Different fonts, different sizes, maybe a little bit of character spacing, maybe italic or bold, and so on. So we are finished with slide design number 7. And let's continue with slide design number 8. So we're getting closer to than slide design. So it's a pretty long tutorial, but I'm sure if you watch everything here and if you understand everything here, so man, you're truly an expert. Okie dokie, and the next PowerPoint template is called i9 template system. Let's just wait until it loads. I have so many tabs, so it takes a little bit of time. And on this template I have marked a slide which is 315, and yeah, let's check out the preview. And let's go to 315, okay? So let me just fast forward. Alright, so here is the slide. So let's just copy it and let's paste it into PowerPoint. We can grab any of the corners to increase the size of this photo because it does not cover the whole slide fully. Before we were working very extensively with custom image placeholders, and I'd like to come back to working with shapes and show you how you could create this kind of interesting looking chart or infographic, however you call it. And yeah, let's start with that. So first of all, let's insert a circle. You know how to do that. Actually, let's remove the outline. Let's duplicate it, so we'll make 3 shapes in total. Let's make vertical spacing equal. Let me copy these guys over here. Well, actually, before I started copying everything, let me just insert a camera icon into one of these bubbles, and now we can duplicate it, so I won't have to insert icons into all of these bubbles. Another way to copy things in PowerPoint, one way is to hit Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, but you can select all of the elements that you want to copy. You can hit down the Control key, and this way you will get a second copy. And if you hold down the Control key and the Shift key, you can move your copy in a straight line. So that's really useful, especially in this case. This way we can quickly create all of these bubbles on the right side. Now let me just reduce the size of this picture so that I can use the eyedropper to copy the colors quickly. And the most interesting part is actually how to create those curved lines. There's a few methods, and I'll show you my favorite one. Of course, you would change the icons according to your needs. I'm just using camera for everything, for all of these bubbles. Okay, so let's set back the photo to full slide. Okay, and let me just cut all of these objects that we just created and paste them over here. So basically you could go to Insert, Shapes, you could use Curve tool. So 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here. Let's just add a different color, like this blue color, but let me add some weight as well, so that you can better see what's going on. And it's actually a pretty decent result. That's pretty good. And let me just save this as a default shape. So next time we create a line, it will be red and it will have the same thickness. So it will save us some time. So the next way you could create something like this is using, let's actually go to, or let's stay here. We can use connectors. So let's use this curved connector. Somehow, let me just undo a couple of steps. Let's insert a connector as well. Let's paste the styling. So this is another way you could use this yellow bubble, to adjust the curve, but I think it doesn't look that awesome. As well, when we drew this line, we had to use like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So that's not very optimal. So my favorite way is going to shapes and using freeform shape. So let's just click once here and let's click once here. So we get a straight line, but don't worry about that. We go to edit points. Let's click on this dark bubble. And once again, with this yellow handle, we can adjust the curve. So just by creating 2 points, we can create a really smooth line. And you can always adjust the thickness of your line, to create those thinner lines. So yeah, I think this is, for me at least, the best method to create something like this. Now I'll just send it to back. And for the color, let's actually fill it with a gradient. So at the want, actually insert 4 gradient stops. So for these middle ones, let's use this color right here. For this as well, the same color, but let's go to more colors and let's make it a little bit darker here. So it looks like, a little bit of a shadow. And here on the right side, we can eyedrop the color from this bubble. Use the same color here. And this last color as well, let's make it a little bit more darker. Okay, so it's like a shadow here as well. So this is basically how you can create these awesome lines. And now that you know how it's done, I will complete the rest of these shapes quickly. All right, let's go. And I would like just to slow down a little bit and explain you a couple of things. As you can see, these lines, they're merging somehow. And if you'd like to add a little bit of, distinction between these two lines, you could select one of those lines, go to Format, go to Shape Effects, and add this bottom shadow. So, there's a little bit of distinction between these two lines. And one more challenge I had when I copied one of these lines. For example, let me just copy it, and let's say I would like to, have one end here. One end here. And then I went to edit points and I wanted to move up, the second point, and this happened. So actually there are 2 points here. Somehow it happened to be 2 points. So I just deleted 1 point, and now I can easily, move it and adjust it to my needs. Okay, that's beautiful. And of course send it to back so that these bubbles are on top. Okay, so let me speed up again. Alright, so I think I finally finished, creating all of these lines. And again, for the text boxes, you know how to do them, so I'll just copy them. I have already done them previously. And for this shape, I'll show you quickly how you can create it. So you can go to freeform, freeform, yes, and click once. Let's check it out once again. Freeform, click once, hold down the Shift key, click next, second time, third time, and fourth time. Of course, now it's let me repeat. Now it's super huge. So we'll have to adjust the thickness. Get to something like this. Beautiful. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue to slide design number 9, and let's jump to this PowerPoint template, which is called Massive Infographics Bundle, which is a bundle of infographics. And we need slide 34. And I think these tube-like circles or bubbles, are not bubbles, tubes, they look really interesting, and hopefully it's interesting for you how to create them in PowerPoint, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's insert a fresh new slide. Let's paste this preview. Let's insert a new slide. Paste the image once again so that we can copy this dark blue color and use it for the slide background. Alright, so the main thing is how to create these shapes. So we can go to Insert, Shapes, and choose Arc. It should be somewhere here at the Basic Shapes category. So let me just show you somewhere right here how it works. So you just drag it, just make sure you hold down the Shift key so you can drag it proportionally, and you can use these yellow bubbles to increase the length of it or reduce the length of it. So that's how it works. And now let's insert this arc into this slide. Let me just change the color of this element so that you can see better. Let's add a weight. Actually, we need much more weight, something like 20 points. And as you can see, the end of this line is not rounded, so we can go to cap type and choose round. All right, for the thickness, let's actually add it, make it 25. And now all we have to do is just increase the size while holding down the Shift key until we get the correct size. Something like this. Okay, let's fully, cover the original shape. And I think it looks all right. Okay, now we can duplicate this shape. Let's change the color. Let's align it with a yellow shape. All right, and now while holding down the Control and Shift key, let's reduce the size of this red shape. And if we would just use the shift key, it just goes to one side. So we need to hold down the control and shift key so that it nicely moves into the center, and we cover the second shape. And now I'll finish creating the rest of the shapes. Alright, now I'll just cut all of these shapes. I will paste them into our slide. Let me just copy this photo so that we can use the colors with the help of the eyedropper tool. Alright, so the most difficult and tricky part is done, and we can just adjust this spacing a little bit, okay? And for the rest of the elements, I'll just copy them. I have already done them previously. So I'll just select all of the elements. I'll just deselect while holding down the shift key these tube elements, and I'll paste them over here. Of course, these percentages, they're just, inserted manually. So it doesn't mean that if I move this, element, the percentage would update automatically. It doesn't work like that because it's just a manual chart. Of course, you can always go to Insert and choose Chart with this button. So this will be like real charts with real data which updates. But in my opinion, designs of those charts are a little bit limited. So sometimes it's good, to create something like this manually, and it's really looks interesting and beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we finally come to slide design number 9, and let's see what do we have in store. So the PowerPoint template is called Marketify Ultimate PowerPoint Template, and let's find slide number 65. And in this case, I just want to show you how you can create these kind of map slides in case you would ever need to create something like this. So let's copy this photo. Let's get back to our presentation, insert a new slide, and let's paste this photo. Alright, so first of all, we need a map of United States. So once again, we can use my resources. So I'll put this PowerPoint presentation file in the video description. So let's just go to Maps. And we have a bunch of maps. So let me just select everything here. Just deselect this text box, hit Ctrl+C to copy. Ctrl+V to paste over here. Let's reduce the size a little bit. So, you can select each state. So that's very cool. Very cool. And now let me just copy this photo so that we can better see the colors. So I select all of the states and let me just fill them first of all with the same color. And after that, let's grab colors from this original photo. All right, so we have colored, the United States map. We have colored the states as in the original slide. Now let me show you how you can create these social bubbles with these connectors with a small bubble at the end. So the easiest way to do that is basically to create one bubble with a connector and then just duplicate it a couple of times. So let's fill this shape with a light blue color. No outline. Okay, now let's we will insert the Twitter icon later on. For now, let's just go to Insert, Shapes. Let's choose this line arrow. hold down the Control key to draw a straight line. For the outline color, let's use the same light blue color, and let's go to Format, Shape. And for the end arrow type, let's use this bubble. Beautiful. We can even increase the end arrow size, so that's much more visible. Okay, something like this. Now we can group these two elements so that they're grouped, easier to work with. Okay, so I'll just duplicate it a couple of times, and I'll adjust the positioning. So for this one, let's ungroup it. Let's select both of these shapes and move them upwards. Now I'll just hold down the Control and Shift key to increase the size of the bubble. Alright, let's connect this arrow to the bubble. Now it should be connected. Yes, it is. Now let's just copy the color and let's give the same color to this line. Actually, when it's connected, I think we don't even need to group it, so it stays together. That's awesome. So for this one, let's do the same. Guess we'll just need to adjust the size. Make sure that arrow is connected. And adjust the positioning. Let's do the same for this one. Okay, so let's make sure that arrow is connected and adjust the positioning. Beautiful. So now let me just copy all of these elements. Let's see what happens. Let me just drag with the mouse so that I select everything. Okay. And now let's just insert those icons. So once again, we can go to the OneSkill resources. Let's find icons. In this case, we need white icons. Okay. Web section. So we need Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and Instagram. Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and Instagram. Copy. Let's paste them over here. So as you can see, our icons are white. We don't see anything. So let me just set the slide background to black. You know, temporarily. Temporarily. Very difficult word to pronounce. And let's insert the icons. And as you can see, our icons has this kind of, outline. In the original, there is no outline. So let me show you how you can quickly remove this outline. So just draw a circle on top of the, let me just remove this huge outline. So just draw a circle on top of, the part you want to keep. Let me just set this circle as a default shape so that the next time I draw a circle, it's not this huge red circle. And now just select the icon, the circle, and choose intersect. Beautiful. Now you have icon without, this kind of border. Beautiful. So let me quickly do this to the rest of the shapes. Now we can actually set back the slide background to white. And as you can see, icons do not lose their quality. when you increase them, so that's really awesome. Usually you need to have SVG format for the icons when you import them into PowerPoint. Beautiful. So this was the most tricky part, and for the rest of the elements, let me just copy them from the slide that I did already. So these guys, let me copy them. Let's paste them over here. Okay. And yeah, maybe let me explain a little bit how I did these rounded sliders. Here, as you can see, we have sharp rectangles, and here we have rounded rectangles. So first of all, I made this gray rectangle. Then I duplicated it. Then I made this for example, blue part, reduce the size, align them to the top. Okay, and I inserted a text, for example, 1.5. To insert directly some text into a shape, just double click on it. 1.5 million. Let me just do the adjustments to the right, and let's reduce the size. And now all I did is just select both of these shapes, go to Format, Edit Shape, Change Shape, and I changed it to rounded corners. And I made it full round. This is how I did it. So, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, we finally did it. 10 slide designs from some of the most popular best-selling PowerPoint templates in the world from 2019 and 18. So I hope you had a lot of fun, and let's appreciate all of the work that we did, and let's see all of these slides on full screen once again and review what we learned, what we created. So this was the first slide design. And this is the original design, and this is what we did. The second slide design, the original, and this is what we did. So here we have learned how to work with shapes in PowerPoint, how to basically create any kind of graphic design. So here is the third slide design. Here we have a huge image placeholder with some dark color overlay, and this is what we did. So it's pretty similar, so it means we did it successfully. So here on the fourth slide design, we had this brush letter image placeholder, and we have learned how to do that. We even added some inside shadow into the letter, so that's awesome. On the slide design number 5, we have learned how to create this kind of separated image placeholder made out of these rectangles, so that's beautiful. Slide design number 6, we have learned how to not only create these kind of Polaroid image placeholders, but how to animate them as well, so that's beautiful. So slide design number 7, again, some awesome image placeholders with color overlays. So slide design number 8, so once again we were working with shapes in PowerPoint, and you have learned how to create and draw beautiful curves that you can use in infographics or anywhere else that you need. Slide design number 9, so basically here we have learned how to create a custom chart made out of beautiful tubes that you can create these tubes with a tool called Arc. And the last one is a map of United States social media. So this was basically to illustrate to you how you can create those map slide designs. Maybe you need to create some kind of statistics and highlight different parts of the country or states. So this is how you do it. So ladies and gentlemen, let me open up, my channel, and let's just do a quick refresh and see. Maybe we have already hit 100,000 subscribers, because I was, creating this tutorial like 3 days in a row. Let's actually do a reload. Hooray! Woohoo! We have 100,000. We have 100,023 subscribers. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did my best to give you as much value as possible, and if you have watched through all of this tutorial, then I can guarantee to you that now you have all of the knowledge and skills to call yourself a PowerPoint expert. And in case if you would like to learn more about like different aspects like PowerPoint infographics or more about animation, because in this tutorial I have not touched animation maybe in such a great detail, so here is a couple of videos about animation, how you can animate your slide design, so feel free to watch them. If you want to learn more about the slide zoom feature that it is available in PowerPoint 2019 and Office 365, so I have created a course on Udemy on PowerPoint slide zoom, so feel free to check it out as well. And as always, thank you very much for watching, for being my friends on YouTube, for watching my videos, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later.